Hello everyone, this is Sanya Grover, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Pharmacology at ISF College of Pharmacy, Moga. I hope you all are safe at your places. I welcome you all in the dialogue series of ISF College. So today I am going to discuss about phase 0 in clinical trials, that is the micro-dosing phase of clinical trials. So students, before starting the topic, I would like to discuss about some basics of drug discovery. So in this section, I will cover drug discovery and development process, including preclinical research and clinical development process. So students, have you ever think about how a new drug comes into market? How a new drug gets approval to get marketed? How much time it takes to get a single drug? And how much of the expenses are required to get a single drug of clinical use? Have you ever think about these questions? Drug discovery and development is not an easy task. It is a tedious process. It is a complex process, includes various steps. The new drug discovery and development process takes about 12 to 15 years to get a single drug. Yes, students, 12 to 15 years, which is approximately one third duration of the entire professional career of any of us. And it requires about 350 million to 1 billion US dollars to just to get a single drug approval. Yes, students, it takes about 12 to 15 years. So, moving forward with the introduction, so let's start the topic, some basics of new drug discovery and development process. As I have earlier discussed, it is a complex process. It is a time-consuming process. It is a costly process which carries commercial risk. And this process takes about 12 to 15 years to get a single drug. And the cost of drug development process is in the range of 350 million to 1 billion US dollars. So these are the various steps involved in drug development process. Step 1 is discovery and development. Step 2 is preclinical research. Step 3 is clinical development. Step 4 is new drug application review, which is abbreviated as NDA. And last step is post-market safety monitoring. So this is the summary about the drug development process. So in this diagram, you can see various drug discovery and development phases, starting with the preclinical phase. But before preclinical phase, a number of compounds are synthesized or various active compounds are isolated from plants. Do you know for every 6,200 compounds synthesized, only 21 compounds will reach the preclinical stage? That is for subacute toxicity studies. And only 2 to 6 compounds will reach the clinical trials and for subsequent evaluation. So at preclinical stage, these compounds are tested on animals like rats, mice, guinea pigs, rabbits, monkeys, etc. For getting the toxicity profile, for getting the pharmacokinetic information, to get its therapeutic effects, etc. And this step takes about 1 to 3 years of duration. When all the series of preclinical studies conducted demonstrating the drug's safety and its clinical use, then the innovator of the drug files an investigational new drug application, which is abbreviated as IND application, seeking the authority permission of initial testing in human beings. Then after getting permission for testing on human beings, the clinical phase started. It basically consists of phase 1, phase 2, and 3, in which the candidate drug is tested on humans. In between preclinical and phase 1 of clinical trials, phase 0 is performed. That is a microdosing phase in which a very small amount of candidate drug is tested on the small number of humans to get its pharmacokinetic information. This clinical phase takes about 2 to 10 years. And after the successful completion of clinical trials and laboratory work, the innovator of the drug then files a new drug application, which is abbreviated as NDA. And this process takes about 2 to 7 years. After the approval of new drug application, permission is given by the Drug Control Authority, that is FDA, Food and Drug Administration. So to start the phase 4 of clinical trial, that is post-marketing surveillance phase, to report the adverse reactions of that particular candidate drug. So students, in this way, we get a new drug of clinical use. I hope you briefly understand this whole process of getting a new drug. So the step 1 of this whole process is drug discovery and development. So drug discovery means how new medications are discovered. In ancient times, most of the drugs used in the treatment of diseases were derived from naturally occurring substances of plant origin. For example, opium from poppy plant, quinine from cinchona plant, digitalis from foxglove leaves. And afterward, classical pharmacology was used to investigate chemical libraries, including small molecules, natural products, or plant extracts, and find those with the therapeutic effects. But in the new era, there are two basic technological advents that derive the genetic field of drug development process. That is recombinant DNA technology and monoclonal antibodies. The recombinant DNA technology can potentially produce almost any protein, which may serve as a model for the creation of new drug molecules. Whereas monoclonal antibodies have an enormous potential to change the face already. So today, drug discovery involves screening hits, medicinal chemistry, and optimization of hits to reduce potential drug side effects. That is by increasing its affinity and selectivity. Efficacy or potency, metabolic stability, and oral bioavailability are also improved in this step of the drug development process. So, what are the aims of drug discovery? So, drug discovery is performed to develop clinically efficacious and safer drugs, to develop economically viable drug, to discover entirely new class of drugs for new biological targets, to discover new clinical uses of older drugs, that means the repurposing of drugs, to explore the pharmacodynamic profile of new drugs, that means to getting the mechanism of action of new drugs. So these are the various steps of drug discovery process. So first step is target identification and validation. Firstly, we have to identify the target. We have to identify that agent which has its therapeutic effect. Target identification finds a gene or protein that plays a significant role in disease. When it is identified, its therapeutic characteristics are recorded, and targets should be efficacious, safe, usable as drugs, and capable of meeting all clinical and commercial requirements. So researchers use disease-associated bioactive molecules, cell-based models, protein interactions, signaling pathways analysis, and functional analysis of genes to validate the targets, or in vitro genetic manipulation, antibodies, and chemical genomics. So, after target identification and validation, the next step is hit discovery process. Various compounds are screened by doing assays. So next step is assay development and screening. Assay means the test systems that evaluate the effect of new drug candidate at the cellular, molecular, and biochemical levels. So next step is high throughput screening. This process involves the use of robotics, data processing softwares, liquid handling devices, and sensitive detectors to rapidly conduct millions of pharmacological, chemical, and genetic tests, which eliminates the hours of painstaking test by the scientist. This process, high throughput screening, identifies active compounds, genes, or antibodies that affect human molecules. So, the next step is to lead process, which is abbreviated as H2L process. So, in this process, small molecule hits from an high throughput screening are evaluated and optimized in a limited way into lead compounds. These compounds then move on to the lead optimization process. This is the last step of drug discovery, lead optimization. In this process, the lead compounds discovered in the previous step are synthesized and modified to improve its potency and reduces the side effects of that particular lead compound. With this, the drug discovery process ends up. And here is the start of drug development process. So with the preclinical research, the drug development process starts. So what is this preclinical research? This means the testing of that lead compound on the animals to determine the efficacy and safety of the drug. So, what is the purpose of doing this preclinical research? Why to do this preclinical research? To get the information about absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion of that particular candidate drug. To get the beneficial effects and mechanism of action of that particular drug. To get the best dosage, to get the route of administration of that drug, to get the side effects, to get the interaction between that particular drug with the other treatment drugs, to get the effectiveness of that drug with that of the similar drugs. So, what are the two components of preclinical research? So, before testing a drug in people, researchers must find out whether it has the potential to cause any serious effect or toxic effect. So the two types of preclinical research are in vitro testing and in vivo testing. Now, what is in vitro and in vivo testing? In vitro testing means in the glass. That means when live cells are removed from the organism and tested in an artificial controlled environment. Whereas in vivo testing means within the whole body. That means the test is performed on the live animals, that is in the live environment of the whole body. So, usually preclinical studies are not very large. However, these studies provide detailed information on dosing and toxicity levels. So, after preclinical testing, researchers review their findings and decide whether the drug should be tested in people or not. So the experimental animals used for preclinical testing includes mice, rats, guinea pigs, dogs, and sometimes monkeys also. So next, the third step is clinical development process. So the data obtained from preclinical studies, that is from animal studies, it provides a general pharmacological, toxicological, and pharmacokinetic profile of a new drug. The new drug application in the prescribed format with all relevant literature and preclinical data must be submitted to Drug Control Authority, that is FDA, that means Food and Drug Administration, for the scrutiny, and sanction obtained before clinical evaluation studies are initiated. So during clinical research, effect of drug on human population is evaluated. So once preclinical research is completed, researchers move on to clinical drug development, including clinical trials and volunteer studies to fine-tune the drugs for human use. So in 1966, Sir Bradford Hill defined the term clinical trial as it is a careful and ethnically designed human experiment with the aim of answering some precisely framed questions. And this definition is valid even today also. So, next, what are the phases of clinical trials? So clinical trials includes 5 phases starting from phase 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Each phase of the drug approval process is treated as separate clinical trial. If the drug successfully passes phase 1, 2 and 3, then it will usually be approved by the National Regulatory Authority for the use in the general population. Phase 4 are post-approval studies. So coming to the topic, that is the phase 0 clinical trial. So what are phase 0 clinical trials? This is the new strategy being developed to reduce the cost and time of the drug development process. The rate of rejection of candidate drug at various stages of clinical development has progressively increased recently, discouraging pharmaceutical companies to venture into the risky business of new drug invention. So this has allowed the Food and Drug Administration and the European medicine agencies to encourage novel cost-cutting approaches in the drug development process. So with phase 0 trials needing fewer preclinical studies that are usually required for a phase 1 trial, researchers would give a few volunteers less than 1% of the therapeutic dose of an investigational drug, a microdose, thus necessitating the manufacture of small batches. The trial would take not more than 7 days, and the greatly reduced dose would ensure the absence of toxic effects. The new program is one of the changes promised by FDA in its Critical Path initiative, the effort to modernize and speed up the clinical trial process. So the official name of a phase 0 trial is an exploratory investigational new drug study, that is IND study. And the goal is to quickly establish whether an agent will work as desired in humans. The theory is that such a trial should also quickly weed out ineffective drugs. So in this process, in this phase, very low doses, generally about 1/100th of the estimated human dose or a maximum of 100 microgram total dose of candidate drug, are administered to healthy volunteers. And pharmacokinetics is worked out using highly sophisticated instrumentation such as accelerator mass spectrometry with radio label diagram, drug, or liquid chromatography mass spectrometry to measure ultra-low drug levels. Microdosing approach could accelerate drug development without compromising clinical safety. Microdosing helps researchers to select better drug candidates for clinical trials by providing early human pharmacokinetic data and bioavailability data. Moreover, the pharmacokinetic zero-phase data could be useful in more precise selection of doses for phase 1 study. But the major objection against phase 0 study is that the microdose pharmacokinetics may be quite different from that at pharmacological doses, since body may handle such divergent doses in different ways. The phase 0 studies have not yet been technically fully developed or adequately evaluated. They are neither established nor mandatory. However, they are promising and most regulatory authorities are willing to allow and consider them. So, how phase 0 works? Phase 0 should be able to show whether a drug pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics warrant continued exploration. For example, researchers will be able to tell if the drug is entering the bloodstream as it should or interacting with the certain enzymes as anticipated. But the process will not demonstrate a therapeutic effect, nor will it replace the dose escalation, safety, and tolerance studies required in the phase 1. So what is the point? What is the significance of performing these phase 0 trials? Because phase 0 can eliminate drugs that don't measure up to even the most rudimentary requirements and thus can save time and money. So now what are the advantages of performing these phase 0 trials? Because it has the less chances of adverse effects. It is of short duration. It has the less number of volunteers. It reduces the cost of development. It reduces the drug development time. So with advantages, there are limitations also. So in these phases, study is mainly based on the pharmacokinetic parameters, not based on the efficacy and safety. So in this phase, agents having different kinetic characteristics between microdose and full dose, they are not evaluated by phase 0 trials. It is of limited use for the agents having non-linear pharmacokinetics. And laboratory parameters are very limited and expensive. Researchers have to depend on labs. So this is all about the phase 0 of clinical trial. So now have a brief look on other phases of the clinical trials, starting with the phase 0. Starting with the phase 1, Phase 1 are usually carried out on 20 to 50 healthy volunteers or patients depending on class of the drug and its safety. These studies are mainly concerned with human toxicity, tolerated dosage range, pharmacological actions, and pharmacokinetics of the drug. So next is the phase 2. These studies are carried out on 50 to 300 patients. And these studies mainly aim to ascertain the safety and efficacy of the new drug and are strictly controlled. So next is the phase 3, which is known as extended evaluation phase. These are formal therapeutic trials carried out in double-blind control manner in 250 to 1,000 patients. Efficacy and safety of the new drug is evaluated and even comparison with other drugs is undertaken. So the last phase is phase 4 post, that is the post-marketing surveillance phase, which is also known as pharmacovigilance. Now what is this pharmacovigilance? This means the collection, detection, assessment, monitoring and prevention of adverse effects of the pharmaceutical products. It plays a key role in the healthcare system through assessment, monitoring, and discovery of interaction among the drugs and their effects in the humans. So in this phase, after the drug release for general clinical use, certain unusual type of adverse reactions may be observed even after years of the clinical usage. Thus, an adverse reaction monitoring is carried out in phase 4 evaluation. So at the end, it is concluded that human microdosing holds significant promise as an analytical tool. Microdosing may help both patients and the pharmaceutical industry with earlier availability of new test medication and reduced attrition of compounds at later stages of drug development. This allows not only selection of drug candidates more likely to be developed successfully, but also helps in determination of first dose for the subsequent phase 1 clinical studies. So in the coming years, as research methods and technology involved in phase 0 trials become more sophisticated, microdosing is likely to become an expected approach in drug development so that eventually all first in human studies will commence with a phase 0 study. So as we know, phase 0 trials are not mandatory at all, but everyone knows its importance. So according to current scenario, the whole crux lies in this statement. The difficulty lies not in the new ideas, but escaping from the old ones. So thank you all for watching and keen listening. I hope you like this session. Thank you again. Stay home, stay safe, and keep learning. Thank you so much.